Matt Stanley, co-founder of FreeLifeFood, and today we're going to talk about the fact that May is Celiac Awareness Month. So, didn't know that, but we're constantly trying to inform people, spread the word, and get more recognition as a disease. Myself, I am a celiac. And it's great to constantly see all these gluten-free choices and items in stores and more awareness. The more we get the news spread about our disease and everything, the more the FDA will control the foods and people will be able to get help and see the recognition of all the issues that come with this disease. So, one real quick tip, you can go to you can just Google search for, just say celiac awareness, and it'll bring up stuff. Or you could go to beyondceliac.org, which is one of the major foundations for celiac disease that's doing that, getting awareness. They have a 1-minute video on there about how it is to live with it. I think it depends on if you're an adult or a child. If your child has it and you don't, it's a big struggle because you want them to be comfortable and you want them to have ease in what they eat and do, but you can eat other stuff, so you feel bad. It's kind of like my wife. My wife hates that she can still eat fast food or a lot of the other things that I used to like. I can't, so I don't mind it anymore. I do what I gotta do, and it does drive you into a singularity kind of place where you're all by yourself when you're around others. So at work, at other places, you're used to having to just figure your own food out and do your own thing or bring your own stuff. For kids, the big one that they always talk about is like birthday parties. You go to your friend's house, they can't have the cake. They can't do a lot of the things that a lot of kids do, You wouldn't think about it, but sharing snacks and, a lot of people do goldfish for snacks, can't have those. It's not fun, but as long as you watch what you eat, it's not as bad as it sounds. Being sick and the low energy and stuff for most people stops. So for me, like I said, I had it my whole life, didn't figure it out till later. As much as my parents tried to find out, didn't ever get any answers until after a hospital visit and a upper and lower scope, and then found out I had it. So, I lived a normal life till now and got to eat whatever I wanted. So that's the hard part as an adult, is if it comes, if it activates, some people call it, sometimes they say it activates later and it's just in your genes, but something triggers it to turn on. But if the diagnosis is later in life, it's hard because you've had a life of eating whatever you want and then now you can't. As a kid, they can grow up always knowing not to eat certain things and what to look for, so it's just natural to them. But we want to get this awareness out. Watch their 1-minute video, watch mine. Just search on YouTube and watch all the different stories of how people are diagnosed. Like I said, there's a story of a guy who 11 years of cancer treatments, 3 different rounds of chemo, all because they thought he had cancer, because celiac can mask itself as other issues. So all that feeling sick and just nastiness for 11 years to find out, oh, if I stop eating gluten, I kind of start feeling better and my body doesn't feel so bad all the time. But all that chemo and cancer treatment was for nothing. So he just pumped his body for 11 years full of medicines that he didn't need. Or there's another story I saw on YouTube about a girl who had a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, and she went through those medicines and treatments for 5 years before they figured it out that it was celiac masking itself. So it is a very serious disease. We want to make sure as a community that we get the news out about it and let everybody know that it's serious. It's a very serious autoimmune disease. It can mask itself as a different disease and its symptoms, or sometimes celiac's the main issue you're finding, but it can also hide other issues you're having. So sometimes people don't know they have all these issues. They feel bad, they get diagnosed with celiac, they feel better, so they go to move on, and a year or so later they start getting better and they find out, oh, now that I'm taking care of myself and eating what I'm supposed to eat, my thyroid's out of whack. Or you always have to get your nutrition back in check. This probably sometime this summer or fall, I gotta start taking nutritional vitamins and such after I talk to a dietitian again and figure out what I'm missing. Because 31 years of malnourishment because of the celiac disease, it's not good for you. So it affects you. It's an autoimmune disease, so it affects how you fight things, how you handle things, the symptoms. The list I got when I was diagnosed is over 50 different symptoms: brain fog, fibromyalgia, cancer, multiple sclerosis. These are all different things that can come up as that. No matter what you do for those things, they never get better. So it's a very serious disease. We want you to know about it. What it means is just don't eat gluten. And there's different sensitivity. Some people, it doesn't activate in their body or cause a lot of issues, so they go off gluten, and you'll see videos about that where a week or a month off and they're full of energy and they get all into their life and happy and totally different person. There's other people more severe like myself. I still haven't had that like energy burst and feel better, and I still feel tired and have issues, so I might have other problems because of all the malnourishment. But we each have our own sensitivity levels. Some people don't care about cross-contamination. I work with a guy, his sister had it. She just ate wherever she wanted to eat. He said, don't you go to Qdoba or Chipotle here in Colorado? And I was like, nope. Why? Well, because they take a spoonful of meat or sauce or something, and they, put it right there on that tortilla, which is covered in gluten. And then they put that back into the bowl. That whole bowl is contaminated now. Well, you could ask them to wash their hands, put on new gloves, get new food out, get new spoons. I guess I'm too proud, or I feel more embarrassed, but I guess some people would say I'm too proud to force a restaurant to completely redo everything just so I can spend my $8 for a burrito. It's not worth the embarrassment or the time or to cause them a hassle. To me it's wasteful, because now they got 2 open containers of each thing that I wanted, and it's not worth the trouble to me. I just go to places that I can eat stuff. Tokyo Joe's is very good. When you don't have a snotty person at the cash register who thinks you're just on some sort of diet. There's a place down here that we eat at called Coquette's. They're moving, so they're under construction, but they're completely gluten-free. I go to barbecue places because a lot of times if you just get the meat, we go to a place called Rudy's. They just have meat. The sauce is on the side, so meat's gluten-free. But be aware, Celiac Awareness Month. Watch YouTube, look it up, try and learn about stuff. Not everything a doctor or anything you find on the web fits any one. If it's one guy here and one guy there, it doesn't fit all of us. Never paint with a broad brush. So everybody who has celiac is not the same. Some of us are more sensitive, some of us less. But definitely go out and educate yourself. See that this isn't some kick. It's funny that I say that because yesterday we were at the zoo, and when we were going home we got some food, and I went to Vitamin Cottage Natural Grocers, and they say that they have a big selection. It was a smaller store, but the guy said, "Hey, are you finding everything you need?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Yeah, I have to find the gluten-free stuff, specific gluten-free stuff." And he was like, "Oh, on that diet kick, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm a celiac." He's like, "Oh, so not for pleasure." And it's like, no, there's absolutely no pleasure in being a celiac. And knowing that in your entire store, there's less than one aisle pertains to me, even though you're a natural grocer and everything's supposed to be organic and natural and healthy and whatever. Somehow, even with all that, I have maybe a half of an aisle that I can use, and some of the produce. No, it's not fun. It's not for pleasure. I got a little bent out of shape about that, but I hate people's ignorance to each other with diseases, illnesses, and just how we choose to live our life. People just assume things, and it bugs me. But as a celiac and someone who's trying to start up a website for people with food issues, I am very sensitive to that stuff. I do think that Walmart, being one of the largest stores in the world, should have an entire section of dairy-free, not an end cap, not a part of an aisle that's as wide as your shoulders. I think they should have an entire section. Like, everything in this section of the entire store is food allergy related, and here's our dairy-free stuff, and here's our corn-free stuff, and soy-free, and nut-free, and gluten-free, and sugar-free. Not that the sugar-free stuff's that good for you anyway, but just we should have our own sections instead of feeling alienated and put out of the human race. It's not just like, well, you're pushed out a little. It's when you get one of these diseases or illnesses or allergies, you're cut off from people, from mankind. Because everything they do, their fast food, their ice creams, their Rice Krispie treats, all of it, it's for them, not for you. So be aware. Month of May, celiac awareness. Hug a celiac. That's what I'll end with, is hug a celiac. Go check it out. Look it up. As always, comment. Let me know what you think of the videos. Subscribe, like, check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter. Give us some feedback, spread the news, and thank you for watching.